guys, LH signing in, bringing you what is 100% authentic, can never be manufactured or compromised. Yeah, you guys, I'm getting so tired of this YouTube thing because it keeps crashing in the middle of my discussion. But, like I was trying to do yesterday, I tried to upload a video, and I had problems with it, and after that, I just wound up going to this river, having a good time. Then I fell in the river with my phone in my pocket. I didn't realize till later, but I had my phone in my pocket. Immediately went home and put my phone in rice. Though my phone was acting right a little bit, good after I went home, but I just didn't want to take any, chances. So I put in the rice, in some rice overnight. So anyways, I'm back to it. So basically what I'm talking about is black people are in hell and seem to not know it, okay? And this is basically going by the Umar Johnson versus the Roland Martin discussion panel with his Black Sunken Place panel. And it just shows that it represents that in the black community, I'm not going to call these particular people, I'm not going to say coons. There's a special word. I think coon is given so lightly. It should be reserved for people, obvious coons, but not necessarily people who don't agree. I'm not going to point that word out so lightly like that, but I will say that some of these people were, it seemed to me on this panel, it looked like they were in the sunken place or delusional, call it whatever you want. There was no logical discourse that could dismantle Umar Johnson's point, and they could not even answer any of his questions. We had one young sister, a sister, come on and was just attacking the man. They first wanted to attack his credentials, how he got to be called a doctor, and that's not what we're coming to. It just seems like that's what the mainstream. A lot of these networks, when an effort to try to prove their point, they want to dismantle your accreditation, but really, education. You don't really need a piece of paper to tell you the facts of life, and that's what I need people to understand. People think they're only smart behind a piece of paper, but I know one of the most smartest people are the people who didn't necessarily go to school or graduate. They just lived life, and they weren't afraid to take those blinders off. Like I told you, in my last video, I went to school and I felt like I was indoctrinated. So I'm gonna give you some history about that. Like I said, I was indoctrinated, and I felt like I was conditioned to think and be a young coon. I mean, you saying, LaRon, why do you call yourself? I call it, like I said, 100% truth, authentic. Okay, I'm gonna always be like that. I was brainwashed. I grew up at one point in an all-white suburb, and for the most part, it reminded me kind of Georgia. Some parts, the South. It kind of reminds me of some aspects of how I grew up, because it was a California town, but it was in the suburbs and kind of like a small suburb townish. At one point, we were like one of the only black families, and I think it was really fully integrated in the late 90s, and we kind of moved around in the mid 90s, early 90s. But anyways, like I said, I grew up with a lot of white children, my white peers and stuff, so I didn't really have a balance of other black kids like that. There was probably a few here and there. It didn't really start picking up to where it is now. And being in an era where you're growing up where mixed is the most acceptable thing to be, and the closer you are to mixed, the better, or whatever. As long as you're not as close to black as possible, I know you guys remember that time. And because of the way my skin looked, how my hair was deemed, my eye color, I wasn't necessarily associated by too many people as being black enough or whatever, but I was still accepted by my black peers as like this freak of nature, something that looked different, exotic, could pass, I guess, as some type of, I don't know, acceptable look, beauty-wise, whatever. I don't know, like the light-skinned dude that can pull all the girls or look good or whatever. I don't know. But I've been told by white people that I don't look necessarily black enough, but I'm still black. And by black people, I've been told how I have white people hair. I look like, I can be mixed or mixed, whatever. My eye color's pretty, or the beautiful eyes, whatever. That's just uplifted. And I kind of saw the divisiveness, especially when I won't forget when one of a class, he was very annoying, Italian dude, compared me and this guy, named Devarie, one of my friends in class, and said, Laurent looks like a white boy compared to you, Devarie. And of course, Devarie was darker skinned, but I just thought, what the fuck? How fucking dare you? Like, fucking white supremacist piece of shit, like stuff like that. Like, I as I grew up, I learned that it was being divisive and conquer and divide. And for a moment, I let that get to my head. But as I got older, I realized, like, that was some bullshit. Like, at one point, I can see that's how people are conditioned to this day. The whole colorism and everything. And I love my people. And I'm just glad I got out of that. Let me just be honest. There's black delusion all around. And, black people don't really, historically, have not, way back, and sometimes, a lot of us are being woken, but there's not really any, like, strength in being black, or pride of being black, as it is compared to trying to strive for whiteness. And it just showed that, on that panel, Umar Johnson was basically saying, you can't build a community, a full-fledged community of black people without a black woman or a black man. And I don't think that's necessarily wrong of him to say. He's entitled to his opinion. Let me be honest with you. No one says anything when an Indian person wants to be with an Indian person, or a Asian person wants to be with Asian. Sometimes they'll say something about a white person because black people have been taught to value white people over their own people. Let's just be honest. Because I remember when they had that damn Richard Alt-Right Spencer on the Roland Martin show, but he didn't get so much flack as Umar Johnson is getting by other black people. Like, black people were attacking him harder than any white supremacist black person against a white supremacist, and it proves that notion that black people will kill you over a white man, a white woman, but more so a white woman, especially black men, when it comes to relationships and romance. It's just crazy. There's something to say about a person that does that. Self-loathing, no respect for yourself or your community. Now, granted, like I said, I come from a very diverse family. I come from a place of love, and I didn't have to really deal with any divisiveness like that in my family like that. I've been grown up along very diverse group of people, from Filipino, black, white. My third great grandmother was white and was very involved with her black children and family members, and I have white people, white family in Washington, who I was very shocked when I was very young. We went to go visit them, and it was just like, wow, like, and mixed and whatever. And it's possible when you don't think about that whole bullshit, white is better or black is not, black is better, whatever. And it's just, but what I saw was that we don't value ourselves enough. And that whole Roland Martin thing, it was ignorance. Like, when Roland Martin said that white people started off the civil rights movement, I knew right there what he was all about. Granted, I used to kind of rock for Roland Martin a little bit. I kind of saw that he was talking about things that were happening to us in this present system. But when he went on that rhetoric, I had to question the network or the sponsors that have a share in the show, because if you ever have a sponsor, they're not going to sponsor just because. There's some hidden alternative behind it. There's a catch, and it seems like it's not based on 100% facts and truth, because if this man really wanted to be real, he could say that, pride in your own community is nothing to be ashamed of. But instead, the whole panel were all attacking this man without any facts. They just kept saying, what about individualism, individual black people who can make that work? And that's the thing. We're not deemed in society by other people as individuals. We're deemed as a community, whether you like it or not. And I think black people too much have been bought into that whole individualism bullshit, when in reality, when we're grouped, when they show thug and Muslim, they're talking about black people all together. And I don't get how black people don't know what's going on when we constantly see stories every day of us being gunned down, or a black family, black child be unrightfully mistreated or under custody. I just saw the other day where 2 black children were being arrested, one for a toy BB gun, and it was in like North or South Carolina, and then another one in this apartment complex. This mother was like, why are you arresting my son? It wasn't really clear why he was being obtained, but he tried to put some objections and some unrightfully, try to arrest the mother on some trumped up charges of attempting to disobey or or try to stop him from making his arrest, or what they call it, objection to of justice, I think. And it was just bullshit. This is what I'm saying. Majority of black people won't make it, unfortunately, in the presence, in the final system of things, solutions, because we're too divided, and some of us will choose to ignore what's rightfully going on. I don't know if it's necessarily a choice to be ignorant, but ignorant is not bliss. This shit is going on, and it makes me so tired to talk about this, because it's something I feel like we shouldn't have to talk about. It drains me because I constantly see this going on, and my people don't act like they're walking on clouds and just oblivious, And for Roland Martin to say that the civil rights movement, or for them to say that was started, no, I believe a black woman who refused to give up her seat on the Montgomery bus is what sparked that, Mr. Martin. And how dare you say that because of only white people jumping off something that black people got civil rights when black people started that. And yes, white people did join. There were some white people who joined and lost their lives. But for you to lie like that and say that black people didn't start the civil rights movement, it was in fact white people, that let me know who you were. You're not really for the people. You're not for truth. You have no logical discourse. And I just want to leave it at this, you guys. When there's an African proverb, it says, when there is no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you. And there are enemies inside, and we need to be aware of that. And it seems like, you know, when we as a black collective get together, when black people want change, it's gonna be too late. And that could be very much avoided if you just open up your eyes and just pay attention. You see what's going on. You know, I just don't think it's wrong for him to say that he wants to procreate black. Other people find pride within their own cultures, Jewish, Hindu, Indian, Asian cultures, even white culture, white people. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave it with that. Pay attention to those within. Within is strong, outside can't harm you. Peace and love, you guys. Share, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at Roland Brand. That's at LeronBrand. Roland Brand. Oh, and you guys, let me know of any apps that could process videos that are over 25 minutes, that could, you can actually do stuff, put in text into the videos, because I'm having a hard time uploading my 23andMe ancestry, and I'm not going to upload it if I can't do it the way I want to. That's just how I am. If I want it a certain way, that's how I'm going to do it. So if you guys know any good apps, stuff that doesn't crash, that works well, leave the suggestions in the comment section. All right. Peace and love, you guys. Have a good day.